Hi y'all, Dusha Tribe, Rita Mavunda here, and this is a video today a little bit more about for people who are moving to different parts of the world, different places, different cities, new jobs or whatever, and how do you make friends, right? It's kind of a weird thing, right? Like when we're kids, you're in school, you're going to like little activities. Your parents put together little play dates for you, right? You have a common interest, so you like make your little friends, right? Like for me, I can definitely say my closest friends are still from college. And then my next set, it's when I first worked in Miami. Those two sets, like, and it's been years now, but like, those are it. But as is with all things with life, right? Constant changing, constant moving, and building and making yourself better. You're going to be meeting new people, and you're kind of like, well, what about friends? So the other day I was like watching this girl's like Facebook feed, and she's like, I don't know, I think she's like mid 30s or something like that, just got divorced. She decides to go back to school. And so now, she's like in her mid 30s, but she went back to school. So I think most of the people in her classes are in their 20s. So she like poses this question, like, how do you make friends as adults? And it was weird because, again, right, like you are your own best relation. And things that come easily to you, you just assume it comes easily for everybody until you're told otherwise, right? Obviously, you guys know I'm generally a talkative person. I'm very curious. So for me to really build connections, find people, be around people, that's easy for me. That's not one of my challenges. And thank God that's not one of my challenges, especially with how much I like to travel and move around. But the way she posed this question, I was like, well, that's interesting, right? Because it's not my issue, but here I am reading it. And the girl's like a delightful person, right? Like, just like an acquaintance for me, but like very delightful. So I was like thinking about it, and I was just like, so what would you give an advice to somebody like that, right? And then it clicked in my head the other day. A friend of mine, again here, I'll call him an acquaintance, put together like a little get together at his house. And I love new people. I love meeting new people. It's an easy thing for me. And then finding them and moving on. And I was like, oh, duh, adult playdate. That's how you make friends as adults, right? Now, the adult playdate's gonna look a little differently, than like what you do for your kids. But the adult playdate is the key to finding, making, creating connections, acquaintances, and hopefully that can really blossom into something more than, just being like your bar buddy or like, you just meet them at events, right? Because for me, I feel like real friendship is like you've been to my house, I have fed you in my house, you have met my family, then we're friends. We've done one-on-one, right? Like for myself, I'm not really into like big group hangouts and like we always roll in 10 deep. Yuck. No, thank you. I don't mind it occasionally, but my preferred method of like being able to get to know someone is purely one-on-one. I like the one-on-one. I like the intimacy of it. I like that it's also more authentic, right? And big groups, what are you really doing, right? You're talking bullshit. It's superficial. Ain't really nothing there. And if we're really talking about friendship, right? Like you've got to move past that superficial front layer, and you've got to be able to find something that makes you really want to like hang out with this person, right? But what's different as adults, we've got a lot of other things that are taking our time, right? I got Tashawn over here. He is like my whole man, y'all. You know what I mean? He takes up all of my time. But I'm a social person, and I'm living in a country where, right, like I didn't grow up here. I have family here, but I don't really kick it with them like that. And I need someone to connect and get me, right? So anyways, the adult playdate concept. Hear me out and give it a try. If you're one of those people where you've never done it before, give it a try. I think you might be happy. So basically what it is you're gonna like go out, right? Like, so i.e. on Saturday, I went out to this party, and there was a couple of people there that I'd already known, who I had done play dates with. And there was a lot of new different people, some really interesting, exciting like conversations, right? Some it was like, nah, I'm good. I don't even want any of this on my dashboard of things to even consider and discuss. I'm going to tell you guys about my dashboard theory a little bit later, and that's more for really maintaining your mental health, right? This is more now, how do you become socialized? How do you become acclimatized? How do you get involved in your area where you are? Because, you know, as much as we've got these mediums for meeting people, FaceTime and Zoom and electric means, whatever, nothing beats one-on-one with a person, right? Like for real, for real. Sometimes I get a little concerned with like this moving into this metaverse and all of that, where now everything is kind of just virtual. I've heard the pros on the cons, but as somebody who really enjoys human contact, it kind of weirds me out, but again, for another thing. So anyways, on Saturday we were out, and now basically as adults, right? Most of us on our downtime, if we're going out, there's probably gonna include like alcohol, drugs, sex, going to maybe a strip club, going to a club, kind of doing those things that as adults we now use as one coping mechanisms, as well as blowing off some steam, right? So for myself, I like some drinks every once in a while. And so I know if somebody calls and say, hey girl, you want to go out to this new bar and club? It's like, yeah, bet, I'm coming. Now here, for instance, a lot of guys, they chew mira, right? So mira, they're like, basically they look kind of like these little ficus leaves behind me, and they're like these little things, and basically it's like cocaine in leaf form, okay? And you will see these guys out here, like they'll just have like a bag, it'll be a plastic bag, just filled with leaves, and they're just eating them. And they will sit like that for hours, okay? That's not the way I hang out. Now let's say if somebody had like a Mira party and there was like gonna be drinks and some music and all of that, I would go to that. However, if you were like, oh, Rita, we're just gonna be over here chewing and hanging, I'm not coming. This is not gonna be something that we hang out with. So you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like as we get older, kind of what your interests are for what you wanna do, you're gonna kind of go into that, right? Like, again, on that same Saturday, this guy invited us to his birthday party, and it was just like at a place where it was just filled with prostitutes. You know what I mean? Now, I'll knock no female. You make your money however you gotta make your money, right? I'm not gonna judge you. I don't really care. However, I don't wanna be around that energy. You understand what I'm saying? So now if you're one of these people where you really always love going to the strip club, you really love going to places where it's just gonna be that type of stuff, we're probably not gonna hang out. You know what I mean? Like, again, you get what I'm saying? There's like a theme to this. So in your Playdate, you're gonna go out. So for instance, on Saturday, we went out. Really interesting people. I met this one Egyptian guy where he's like starting his business here, and like same, he's doing it kind of like me from scratch, not coming with an NGO or an embassy or one of these international corporations, blah, 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 but like just coming out here. We had a really good conversation. We really clicked, right? So now in that situation, he would be somebody that I would extend the adult Playdate, right? And basically what you're gonna do is you're just gonna find a day and a time that works for both of y'all, where now it's just gonna be you two together kicking it in an area where like that's what you like to do, right? So at this party, there must have been like 30 of us there. Everybody was like drinking. There were some people who were doing shisha, stuff like that, right? So now I already know with most of these people, we'll probably be able to kick it another time because we're just all kind of drinking. Now, this guy, we're talking, we had a really good conversation. So now the conversation was straight. I know that he drinks. So now if I wanted to create like a friendship with him, an acquaintanceship with him, a business relationship with him, my next step that I'm gonna do is the adult Playdate, right? I'm gonna hit him up and be like, hey, yo, what's up? What are you doing? If you're not doing nothing on Friday, why don't we go have a drink or two and just talk, right? So now what's gonna happen is you're gonna get that one-on-one time. Now you're gonna really be able to see what they're like, right? Now, sometimes you'll do one-on-ones with people and you're like, I messed up. I didn't realize that I was gonna need a whole group for y'all, right? Like there's definitely a girl here that I've met where we met she was like, we met online, and I was like, oh, let me see what she's about. And, you know, she was like talking about dating in Kenya. So I was like, okay, let me hear what she's talking about. We went on a one-on-one. So she has her purposes and she's good for group setting. but I'm probably never gonna hang out with her one-on-one, right? So she'll always just be an acquaintance of mine. There was another time, same out here. Now, the same girl who I'm saying, where when we went on our one-on-one, I wasn't really that interested in her. She introduced me to another group of people, and that one girl whose house it was, imagine she lived like only 4 blocks down from me when I lived in Brooklyn. Weird, right? Like that you meet across the world, across the continent, but you live literally 4 blocks down from me. And she was fine, but like, you know, she was like a vegan and like really munchy crunchy and like loved hiking and outdoors. And like, you know, your girl likes to go outside and take a walk and all of that, but that's not going to be my full on. Every time we hang out, we're schlepping up a side of a mountain for like 5 hours. We not going to be cool like that. But what was weird is while I was there at her house, I was outside on the balcony on the phone. And then this girl walks out and she was like, hey, and I was like, hey. And it was weird. We clicked immediately. Me and that girl who walked out on the balcony, we had a real play date. And now I can definitively say it's been about 2 or 3 years since we had that play date. And she is definitely a friend of mine. She's definitely one of the better friends of mine out here. I actually call her Corona Bestie or CB because it flowed from that, right? We met, we had a play date. I like you. We had another play date and I was like, oh, I like this girl. This is what's up. And I had been asking the universe, right? Like I wanted a good girlfriend while I was here where, you know, you could just kick it with, like it can't be work all day long. And so I was glad that the universe answered, but it was also within this concept of the adult play date. So for those of you guys who are maybe like struggling with like trying to find a friend, finding a connection, just somebody who could like you can kick with. I'm not saying you're gonna go out every weekend and you're gonna hit the streets like you was 20, because you really shouldn't be doing it if we're like building businesses and we're really doing all that, right? We're talking about like going out occasionally, but like that one person you can go and have a nice dinner with, somebody where like, but you like talk, right? Like not those people where you go out to dinner with them 1 month and then you don't see them for like 3 or 4 months, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like somebody who's like your friend, or it's like the end of the day, you're coming home, you can just, hey girl, what's up, da-da-da, that's it, click, done. Try the playdate concept, the adult playdate concept. Give it a try. Find somebody, let's say you're out, you really like it. Like for instance, again, like I said, on that Saturday when I went out, there was another 2 set of girls who was there. One girl, I wasn't really into her, like she was fine, but her friend, all the truth. Loved her. Super cute, super fun. And we've actually planned a play date to go and hang out because like I just really liked her vibe and we just really clicked, right? So I was like, great, let's do the play date. So I'll update you guys on that to see how that goes. But consider the play date as a means of trying to find some good quality friendships and adults as we are out here building whatever it is that you're really trying to build, right? All right, y'all, just a little something for you. All right, talk to you later. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Bye.